All right. Everyone, welcome to the Sister City Committee meeting. Take attendance, I guess, to start. Christine Freed,
Here.
Stephanie Secord,
Here.
Steve Shosse,
Here.
Bob Sullivan, here, Carrie Foley,
Here.
and we're, Robert Kennard Jr. will be, joining us soon. And I know, Ben Van Camp is unable to join us this evening. This afternoon. All right, we will start with the old business. We have the update on the Sister City Trust, the next funds. I might hand it off to Mr. Sullivan.
What I've handed out to you
Robert?
just now is the most recent draft of that trust. It was actually finalized by Christine and myself. And based upon input from the committee, it is now going to go to the trustees of trust funds for their approval, and then to the city council for final approval. And as of right now, there is no date set to go to the trustees. We have to schedule that through discussion with the chairman of the trustees.
There a motion to send this to the trustees of the trust and schedule a meeting with the chair?
So moved. And then I have a question.
There's a second?
Second. So Robert Sullivan, Town
Yes.
Attorney Sullivan, does this language get us through trustees of the trust funds and some of the questions they've had about?
No, I would say until the trustees have voted, the trustees have not voted.
Okay.
And some discussion is going to happen.
Because there's been a little bit of discussion, but at least this gets it in front of them officially, so that we can start accepting donations to do things like receptions for visiting students. So I guess we have a motion on the floor.
Yes. And I'll just add, obviously we'd like to see all this kind of ready for before the Nichi 9 anniversary and everything, so that we can, I know Mary Carey Foley has volunteered to be the first donor to the fund. But we want to make sure that we can have something ready before the anniversary, so we can, have a ceremony, do something. All right, any other discussion?
Bob, I've got a different version, so I'm not sure which one you printed out earlier.
I did not make the copies.
This one has an empty E and F. And what
It's a date.
the last one,
Draft 3.
March 10th is what I've got. Oh, this is draft 2 though. So I think we just have to take out E and F. It looks like we initially had
Yeah.
gifts for visitors.
I asked for a copy of the last draft I had. This is what I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see what.
Reception of activities.
So a version that I have has E is matching
Matching
funds
funds.
for
Yeah,
grant
that's
related
what I'm
assistance
showing
to
as.
the activity.
Yeah, that's what I.
Approved this March 10th, but it also says draft 2, so I'm confused about it. Just want to get all of because I think Bob, you and I added
Yeah, that's
some of those and they're not quite all there.
All right, let's make sure we get the right.
maybe the draft that was given me isn't the final draft.
Let me,
In which case, Christine, I think you have the final draft.
I'm gonna forward this to everybody.
Yeah, I have this same one that Christine's looking at on my computer.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go line by line, make sure there's no other.
yeah,
I think we had a typo we fixed. We can check too, but. But we could vote on doing the last approval.
So I'm not gonna, Christine, just to prevent this happening again, I'm not gonna do anything until you send me whatever's the most recent thing on your computer.
You got it.
To me, it looks like the only thing different is that matching funds for grants.
There's a
relating
thing
to-
about gifts. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
order.
yeah, you're right. And we had it at, it's on C.
Yeah,
And then C on here is entertainment, education.
yeah. So,
So it sounds like you've got the more, got the one that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
yeah, we had gifts, receptions or activities, which would be the other version is entertainment, and then matching funds for grants. So that's,
Is D on this version 3 cover that, matching funds from any source?
it does, but that means we're missing something.
Yeah.
So I
Um,
think what we're missing in the version that Bob just gave us is the gifts.
Yes.
Gifts for visitors from sister cities or to be taken to our sister cities. So that's,
So the one I have online, the only, yeah. The differences are A and B are the same.
Mhm.
And then C online says gifts for visitors from sister cities or to be taken to our sister cities. D is reception or activities for visitors from our sister cities.
Mhm,
E is matching funds for grants relating to sister city activities.
mhm.
And then there is no.
There is no F. Okay.
Should we make a motion to
Except that one.
accept the one that we have, that I just orally
Second.
accepted?
yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All right, any more discussion? So we'll be voting to send this, the online version that I just read orally, to the trustees of the trust. Scheduling with the chairman of the trustees of the trust.
May I ask a question? Since there are gonna be some, at least nominal discussions with the trustees between Christina, myself, and the trustees, may we have the, some authority from the committee to make minor adjustments in form and not substance?
It's a great idea. Get
The
this
friendly
moving.
amendment.
Friendly amendment
Does-
accepted.
Does the second accept?
Any change that we would change of substance, we will bring back here.
You should be authorized because we've all discussed it at length.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Everyone votes aye. All right. Excellent. So we'll send that to the trust and, yeah, and if there's anything they, we need to change or anything, and we'll make sure that's all set in order before, we just put it on the council agenda. Next is update on follow-up from Solnuck Hungary. We did send a letter. It was very, right?
Nope.
We didn't send.
Oh, it was to be discussed in the March
Okay.
meeting and,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
so I,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
piece of the letter Christine drafted.
And just to add to this, Christine and I both met with a representative from Senator Shaheen's office and the State Department. They were kind of interested in what we were doing on the sister committee. And it seemed like they were more interested in some of our adversarial country. I don't know, like they were asking about China, they were asking about.
I think it's because the, Paul, who we met with, is on the Foreign Relations, he's a legislative aide on the Foreign Relations Committee, and his focus for,
He said-
for Senator Shaheen is Asia.
Yeah, he said.
So I think, yeah, so I think that's why he wasn't focused not necessarily on Hungary and other.
Yeah. It did seem their ears perked up when
Yeah.
we started talking about this, but just to add that. So we do have this letter drafted. I'll let everyone review the letter.
We had a couple of
And
suggestions.
Peter said he was joining us today, but I don't see him, so.
Okay.
Yeah, he RSVP'd, but.
Yeah,
And we did talk, I guess, in February when he was here about sending this letter and then when and if and when we do a Zoom with Ms. Adam, that he would be happy to join us. So I don't think we're
Held up.
announcing
by-
anything
yeah.
that he didn't already participate in.
He did share, for, just to recap, Mr. Sumps did kind of share with us that Solnook is a big supporter of, Viktor Orban. And Viktor Orban kind of has some extreme ideas politically. So we're being a little cautious. In just not making any promises, but kind of sending this generic letter like, hey, hello, we are communicating. But we're pumping the brakes a little bit as far as signing any agreements or moving any further, I guess, at this point.
Hmm.
Any other discussion, any thoughts or?
The one thing I noticed, and Christine, my apologies, I think what I just shared with all of you has the couple of edits that I made. Because the last sentence, I don't think you had about perhaps our next step might be to schedule a Zoom. Did you have that in your original letter? Because it's in this that I just gave you.
I don't think so.
That
But I don't
would
have a
be,
problem with it.
other than capitalizing sister cities, which I obsess about.
No, I mean, I think the idea of our focus, that we said that a while ago too, like making sure our active relationships are getting our energy and our,
Yeah.
so I think it's an honest response and, an appropriate one.
I
Yeah.
guess my other comment is that you had linked in your draft to the homepage of the city website. And I suggested, because you're talking about, what our focus is, that maybe the page that has the city council's goals and objectives
Uh-huh.
might be a good
Okay.
way to just kind of have them
More focused.
understand what
Yep.
we're caring about.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a great list. Which is actually the city council homepage.
I'd look for a motion to send this letter to Solnick as edited.
Yeah, should we have you sign it as chair or have the whole committee sign it?
I'd be, happy with either one. I'm not,
Maybe.
yeah, if you think it's more formal, if.
Is
I
this
sign
the
it.
final draft?
Not the formatting, but the content,
Yeah.
yes.
Third paragraph, last sentence, have you,
Mhm.
I did notice. there's-
Paragraph.
third paragraph, last sentence. Sentence above that.
Oh.
If so, what kinds of exchanges?
Oh, right, double,
Oh,
it
you're-
says double have you.
Oh, yeah. Have you.
Kind of
Have you.
exchanges or programs have you participated in, yeah.
Then.
No, yours is different.
Yeah.
I was wondering when Stephanie said the Zoom thing, I said mine doesn't say Zoom on
Yeah.
it.
So here's,
I've got a different copy.
Okay,
here,
so obviously
Yeah.
I printed you.
We'll share.
yeah.
Okay.
But the
So
two
have you,
pieces.
have you?
So now I,
And then there's two spaces before, where did I see it, build? Yeah,
yeah, there are extra spaces between 3, 4, and 5.
So do we have a relationship with them now?
We have an agreement with them,
Okay,
which is why she reached out to us, because she found us in her files as a friendship city.
okay, which is the entry level agreement, if you will.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So since we already have a relationship with them, the third paragraph, first sentence, we are always open. First sentence, sorry, third paragraph, first sentence. We're always open to considering new ideas. Is that what we're really
yeah.
asking about? Are we they're asking about bringing our relationship that we have back to life.
Right.
And so isn't that what we're responding to? We're always open to reconsidering, reviving our relationship from the past or
Yeah.
rather than new ideas. I didn't.
Can
understand the new
flip
ideas
it,
part.
but we talked about it in our meeting that what Stephen just said, that, we're currently focusing on our active ones, so we don't want to promise anything.
Right,
But that we are always open to
reconsidering,
considering new ideas.
re-engaging with,
Yeah,
You'd rather. just-
conversation, yeah.
more than,
I'd follow you,
more than
yeah.
ideas, more because we
Yeah,
do
we're
have
always
the
open
relationship.
to
Yep,
It's just been dormant.
open to,
Reconnecting.
Sure.
Open to reconnecting.
She did the reconnect, so now we want to
Re-engaging.
further that and say, let's,
Yeah.
let's,
Tell us more.
yeah, what can we do? Let's
That was in the.
grow the
that was-
relationship. Back. Great.
No, but I like the re-engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, re-engage.
Because as you say, we're already connected to
that's-
them. We're
that's
not suggesting
significant.
we create one, but we're also pointing out that
Yeah, we have our,
you have some great ideas because otherwise we've got
Yeah.
plenty to do.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying, considering new ideas, but re-engaging and considering new ideas.
Mhm.
Re-engaging.
That doesn't open us up to their new ideas, does it?
Doesn't mean we have to.
yeah,
doesn't
we
mean we have to
they can
listen
share,
to-
they can share all day.
Yeah. But no, I think
Yeah, that's a good catch, yeah.
All right, motion to send that as edited,
So moved.
a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, next order of business, update on Santan Congelo Mayor to Mayor meeting. I just got Monty to share with me the email correspondence. Hold on one second here.
Yeah, there was a letter in March. that
Yeah.
We just saw.
So I was with the mayor when Mayor from Santan Congelo came and met with him, and they're very nice and they love Portsmouth. They're
Yeah.
they're all about like healthy living, and so he proposed this slow living,
Slow city,
slow city, sorry, slow city.
slow city program.
And it was just kind of slow down, like take time, appreciate things, eat a meal, eat slow, go for a walk after, go look at art, go to shows, go to kind of appreciate things. And he also gave a gift with a Lumineer that I still don't know where the mayor plans to put that, but it's probably gonna end up in Von Mall or something like that. But it was really cool string of lights that'll go from building to building. So I'll just share the letter that the mayor from Santan Congelo. He's, "Dear Mayor McCackran, I hope you're doing well and that you all had a great Christmas time. Beautiful Portsmouth. At the beginning of the new year, I would like to pick up what we had discussed during my visit in October, when we had the pleasure to meet. But first, I would like to thank you again for your great hospitality and your city giving me the enthusiasm to bring back here. It was very strong. I can confirm the will to nurture the relationship that we start to build. The first concrete occasion that we have is the arrival in February of Portsmouth students, who we'll welcome in City Hall, and together with the teacher, we already agreed on a program that will allow them to experience our city. I can tell this was translated. Needless to say, we would love to welcome you here together with them. It would be an amazing opportunity to meet again. In the meantime, I'd like to ask that you had the chance to think of evaluate the opportunity to join the City of Slow International Network that represents a further opportunity to merge the culture and vision of development among cities that value their territories, their local products, the environment, and their communities. I would also like, as previously discussed, to try and coordinate a shared film showing during the Cinema Ritrovato Festival.
Oh.
So if you agree, I would like to contact the festival to try to start making arrangements. I think it would be a great event for the summer. It would be great if you had the chance to travel over here because there's a lot that we could do together, but we could also use more frequently emails. I hope to hear from you soon. Yeah, so I remember the Cinema Exchange, considering that we do film festivals here and they have a very famous film festival. And now that UNH is getting involved with the music hall and stuff, so that kind of
Yeah.
broadens our
Yeah,
broadband.
that festival in particular is ritrovato, means like found film, so it's like old films resurfaced. And so it actually starts in Bologna. UNH and Brown University are the only groups in New England, really, well, in the East Coast, I think, are definitely New England that host for this traveling festival. So they actually host events at UNH and at Portsmouth High School. So we have a full day of the festival with the UNH professors come. Our students, fill the Nichinan Theater, and we do this film fest. So I think the conversation of what does it mean to bring it to Portsmouth proper, like
Yeah.
downtown, music hall, is really an amazing opportunity too. This is an international major film.
When is it at the high school?
It just happened.
We just did it right, not even,
March 31 to
yeah.
April 6th
yeah.
this year.
So we did it on the beginning of the month. So yeah, and then UNH has events that whole time. And then they show it in Bologna where I think it launches in the summer. And then it comes a full year where it gets back to Bologna, like it travels the world. And people can make selections, like local communities can find other found films to highlight. And so UNH has curation.
So by next year, we'd be thinking about a music hall showing or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, a bigger venue.
Yeah. In partnership with UNH, I
and-
think they,
and
yeah.
You guys.
And us, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So.
So how do we move that forward?
Yeah, I don't, I kind of asked the
Ew.
mayor, well, I was just up in his office being like, what next? And he's like, I don't know. But I think I don't know, I was just with this trust fund, if we get that set up, perhaps maybe there's something we do with the film festival, or, if there is some, I don't know, some coordination there. It's something we can look at. Ben might, have some
Yeah.
insight on that as well.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just kinda thinking
we're
out
in,
loud.
we're in conversation with the Italian team that helps run it for us from the UNH department. So I can get them on
That'd be
a,
great.
little chat to say,
Our calendar early, so we.
yeah, get
Yeah.
involved and, yeah, we've done it 2 years in a row now. So our goal is, to keep that going, but,
Are the students from Santa Carlo coming here in the fall?
yep.
So it'd be nice maybe to announce whatever we're gonna. do
Yeah,
for
some of the-
film Festival then.
Yeah, they're coming in October again. The light thing, I did have questions about that because I was told, so the light, giant light display is actually a thing they do in Sant'Arcangelo. So, just imagine the, street lights, but
Make-
dangling on the string. But the one I was told was the famous poet of Sant'Arcangelo. When you walk down the street, it illuminates lines of the poetry. In one direction, it's Italian, the other direction, it's English. And they were trying to do this art installation is what I understood the conversation to be, that the both cities would share the same art installation. And kind of celebrate.
Same poetry, or would we put like our local poet?
Oh, I don't know. I think the one they sent or the one they want to send is theirs.
Is theirs, sure.
But with the English, which they would run there, I guess, as well, both Italian and English. So yeah, so that was the question more, because they wanted it, that was the gift, like they would fund the materials. Could we get our public works to actually string them up across, that was the big question, like how does it actually get
Right.
installed and
And
where
where,
and
yeah.
what city channels do we need to make sure it's safe and, that it's up for a couple of weeks or whatever
Would the hanging of the strand of lights be part of a bigger celebration?
Well, it would be ideal to connect it, right? So when we hosted Sant'Arcangelo a year ago, well, almost, 2 Octobers ago, or whatever, the first partnership, we all collect, we got everybody organized. We hosted inside the gallery. And that was wonderful. And Massimo gathered people from downtown and everybody was pitching in and that, I think, set a tone for us on our side, at least how we would welcome them and celebrate them in that space. What is that called again, the gallery? It's gone.
Changes.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Gallery beneath Jimmy.
yeah, gallery under Jimmy's. So, yeah, I think they did the same. I saw the photos and I'll share them of how they hosted us in February. And it was remarkable and beautiful and lovely. And so, I think similarly, I think if we could time it, whether it's their visit in October or leading up to the film festival, that's a new connection for us. And this is what I'm excited about this. And, I know we'll talk about others, and the next thing, but that energy, which we've had with Nichinan for a long time, obviously, and their love of this relationship, Sant'Arcangelo is coming hot out the gate. Like they are really excited. And the gift is not a small gift. Like it's a significant thing. For like city scale, you know, like a whole street. So anyway, yeah, it's really amazing, and it's just something that I think it does land on us as a committee too, to go, okay, we have to be the connectors for, you know, a lot of that. And yeah, so I think between the fall visit and or the film festival in the spring, be fantastic. Yeah.
It's like the fall festival, we could make it work, would be better for an outdoor installation.
Yeah.
October, because
Yeah. Into the, yeah, no, chaos, right?
Yeah, and I didn't understand when the mayor was talking about it, that it's a temporary installation. It sort of sounded more permanent. And there was discussion about where and Daniel Street or
Yeah.
Von Mall. But what would be interesting if it could work is Penhallow by Massimo's and rope him in.
Mm.
That is a nice way of putting that. but
He'll get
Engaging
it.
his enthusiasm
Yes.
over Daniels or
Yeah.
Penhallow, then
I know one issue, like, well, you know, in my head, that just with the fire department, you know, where would they allow it? But
Yeah, and how high up, and it's all.
yeah.
stuff that
That's why in my
happens.
head, I was like, oh, does it have to be over pedestrian? You
Yeah.
know, it would have to be.
so
Yeah.
do we have any more technical detail from them? Because I'm happy to follow up with DPW. and-
Yeah, I can
and
get it. If
Chief
we don't,
Nolan.
so
just so we know what we're dealing with,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
their question.
And we can even use the excuse that like we would like to be part of the celebration to throw it, so we just want to know what's going on. Even if that just sparks a little
yeah,
fire under the process, you know what I mean? Get them motivated to, oh yeah, we forgot about that sign, we got the.
So do we have possession of the string of lights? with
I
the
don't
sign?
know.
No,
I don't
the
know.
promise of sending it.
Right.
yeah, I think
Because
it's,
they promised to fabricate it, and I didn't even know about the poetry. I was imagining, you know, any of the kind of street lighting that you see in the North End at Christmas time, that kind of thing. But the poet of Sant'Arcangelo was cool.
yeah, I think I have some really vague memory of seeing the installation. I'm just trying to pull that up. So,
But that's something the committee could think about, you know, that's another opportunity to use, you know, if we have the trust fund set up, you know, to do a small ribbon cutting or something ceremony, you know what I mean, for the illumination. But something
Yeah.
to think about.
and I think that idea of, the fall, of course, into that kind of shopping season and you know, and then obviously with the winter, what the material is and how it's made and does it survive kind of thing and how long.
I have a vague memory that not much.
Yeah.
It's right on the coast.
For the mountains. It's nice.
I think October is Italian-American Heritage Month, getting beyond the
Yes.
Columbus Day thing.
Yes.
It's a wider recognition,
Yes.
which would be nice.
All right. But yeah, we don't need to, we can
Yeah, we can
find it later.
keep that.
Um,
Yeah.
all right, if we want to move on to the next, but yeah, Steve, if you want to give us an update on
Yeah.
either the Michigan or the Sant'Arcangelo, I don't know.
Yeah, just really, it's been amazing. You know, PHS came back swinging, ready for global, ready for exchanges and connections. Like I said, we hit the ground running, you know, last school year with the Sant'Arcangelo to kind of really, we didn't really know them. I had visited, Joe Marquette had visited. So we kind of did our diplomacy tours just to make, you know, build some of that. And we had lots of Zooms with the principals and the teachers. So hosting them was kind of like, okay, this is new for us and you're strangers, but it was brilliant and beautiful. So yeah, and then they were just so excited for our February. So we were actually a year. We hosted them twice before we went. So 2 Octobers, then we just went in February. And it was nonstop. I think the mayor I met both the guy who was here and then the woman who I met in Italy. They are so progressive and thoughtful and energized. and really tagging the students of that school to learn, go out. Like those kids came with a checklist.
Yeah.
Find out how they do social activities for kids. Find out where you connect this to that. How do they use parks? How do families engage services? It was really intense research that the kids were challenged with. So that's just remarkable. We'll be back. A group of teachers does recon, our Italian team. So they'll be back in Sant'Arcangelo this summer. I'll probably join them. So that's just really vibrant and live connection. This installation, I think, is a pretty profound statement of like presence. Does that make sense? Like putting something that really connects, visibly connects, and not something out of the way or but something downtown, and they want to do the same. So that's really exciting. And Nichinan, boy, what an amazing, I just love it. So I'm going again next week. We have 25 kids and 8 adults, teachers, staff, and the Nichi Gakuen and city are just so excited to have us back. We've all been sending postcards back and forth and meeting and organizing. Yeah, the talk on both places for both schools and cities are teacher exchanges as well in between. So if we do get into a rotation, because one of the big burdens right now is even hosting, I think I shared a budget at some point with the committee, but that's $3,500 for the week for us, like out of my high school operating budget. Busing, lunches, just all and no extravagance by any stretch. Just some basic stuff with kiddos. And it's important. And we were so excited to pitch in but we also start thinking like, oh yeah, this twice in October, we go February, April, Nichinan. So the impact every year on the hops is significant. So, we have to come up with some managerial cycles and how to do it well. The problem is I want to go more with the team, not just me personally, but so yeah, it's really exciting to think, how we're going to manage this in a way that keeps the connection strong. And that's presence, right? Like that's being there. We got to figure out some other ways to in between. So we thought about teacher exchanges that would keep a strong presence that has impact, right? So it's not just the 20 kids that are going, but those teachers are now telling stories of Portsmouth or Nichinan to 100 kids a semester, right? So that scale of teacher exchanges, both in Italy as well, in Sant'Arcangelo. So yeah, we're the staff teams. So like Laura Lavalley's been doing Japan for a number of years. She's assembling a great faculty team around her in the trip planning and organization. And same with Italy, Joe Marquette, our wonderkin of language and everything. He really got that going and how has kind of turned it over and brought a whole team of faculty around it. So these aren't, cults of personality. They're really getting embedded in the culture of the high school so that I can look at any one of the staff and say, you're up, yeah, I'm ready to go. I can organize the trip. So we're not going to see any gaps in planning or relationships. Yeah. So yeah, very exciting and strong. That's the word. That should be the takeaway word. Like really robust relationships are forming. The kids who it's what we encourage, like so when Nichi comes, our families that host the kiddos, we encourage those kids to then travel to Nichinan and try to match host for host, and either way, and when that happens, it's a beautiful thing. But the families are already talking to our kids now on in anticipation of welcoming them, like on the social media. So yeah, it's just you realize like wow, and especially kids with the global phone life, they'll be in contact constantly, right? Like not like us, so we got to write a letter and that'll take 7 weeks. And I mean, they're literally talking to friends in Italy or Japan, 3 times a day. So it really is, it's going to ramp. What I'm excited about the committee, the trustees is all I could say is we're full steam ahead right now. Like we'll absolutely want and welcome the committee in the city, and because we're going, We're going all in.
And your relationship is just, I mean, you're the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
You're-
Yeah, it's exciting to be connected like that, even with Sant'Arcangelo. The good part about that is I take my parents home to Italy every year. So it's a quick drive to zip over and say hello and be present. But, and Japan, yeah, it's just, I am more, inspired by it, by Portsmouth Nichinon, like that thing, this amazing thing. So yeah, it's just remarkable that our kids, our families, our teachers, the energy around these two alone, and they are ready for more, I would say, for sure.
So
Ireland.
I had a question
Yeah.
for you. Also, Ben was talking to us last time, sidebar, about a possible trip to Portsmouth, England. That would be
Oh.
a London trip, but for anybody that was
Yeah,
kind of offered by the chamber with a tour operator, and then they would do an add-on day specifically to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So we could do that.
fantastic.
But my question for you is, the Japan America Society of New Hampshire
Yep.
has talked about the idea for the 120th anniversary this year of trying to contact students who went to Nishinon in past years. In particular, maybe to have those former students and families gather when we have the reception for the Nishinon kids.
That's cool.
Because I thought that would be really neat.
I love that.
And as far as I can tell, we've done 10 trips from here to Nishinon.
Yeah.
And that means dozens of students. And I have all the names.
Oh,
But so if I share that list with
Okay.
you, can you start with the alumni association? See who we can find?
yep. And what's great is we still have access to many of those teachers. Kyle Harrington, like still around. So they, that's probably a good space for us too with the teachers.
Okay, I will get
Um,
you that list.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And it just made sense to do it when Nishinon's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. And then I guess my other thought is, maybe this committee with you can think about what switching back to Sant'Arcangelo, what Portsmouth might give the city of Sant'Arcangelo.
Yeah.
The way, I mean, we don't make artistic lights,
Things
but
like
we
that.
make
Yes.
other things, whatever that might be.
No, and I like that idea. I remember Ben came having the idea of, the art exchange or, having art like in Bohenko Park or,
Right.
but if through this fund, if, we could potentially fund, Portsmouth artists or something to do something to
Yeah.
send to them
Yeah.
as a gift. That would be something that I would imagine that would garner a lot of support.
Yeah,
Um,
and the lights are outdoor where everybody in the city can see
Yeah,
it. So
really
the
connect.
idea, what Bohenko Park has with the sculpture there
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That's a good idea.
So, do we have so would it be cool to give them something back in kind?
Mm.
That we come up with some string of lights representative of Portsmouth or New Hampshire general sense. And we have a local or New Hampshire poet.
Mhm.
We put their poem in English and then in
Mhm.
Italian. So
Mm.
we have theirs
Yeah,
in
yeah.
English and Italian, they have ours
Yeah.
in English. and
That's amazing.
Or
Italian.
a sculpture, because Sant'Arcangelo has the industry that makes the lights. We don't, but we have artists who could do a sculpture. Same idea. I mean, we could inscribe a poem
Yeah.
in English and Italian and whatever. I mean, and it certainly doesn't mean that we couldn't look at what it would take for us to do the lights.
Yeah.
Because
Find it.
the actual, and then they need to worry about where they're gonna put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be cool.
The other
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask is, when are they doing, they're doing memorial to the North End, right? For the
Yes, that
Placed.
bench, the bench is they've been
benches.
doing
I don't know
the
if we should be
pocket guard.
involved in that, or, you know what I mean, or help organize. Get
We
the
should at
Italian
least be
community.
aware of, because the committee that did the festival and the film
Yeah.
are the ones behind the whatever they're doing. I think there's a sculpture involved.
That's what I,
Cause the bench is there. The bench
Yeah.
has been there since,
Yeah.
I don't know when, I don't remember when. But yeah, I can check in on who's doing what with that. I think it's the Little Italy Committee.
I don't know if it was through the Arts and Cultural Committee or from.
Yeah,
yeah,
Think
so-
so, but I will check the Arts and Culture Commission minutes to see if it's come up with that.
Okay.
Cause I do remember hearing something about it, maybe when the documentary was shown again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that is. The other thing from Nishinan and the 120th is the Consul General of Japan in Boston is very into the 120th anniversary. Mentions it whenever he has the opportunity. There was a conference at Boston University last week that Chuck Joliak spoke at, talking about the treaty and citizen diplomacy, as we are wont to do. The Consul General was there, and talked about the 120th. What I learned, because he keeps pushing about 120th, and the Japan Society keeps slowing things down.
Yeah.
Because we have very limited numbers of people, and saying, well, really, the 125th is going to be more of a big deal than the 120th. He mentioned that in Japan, the 60th anniversary and the 120th anniversary are the big deals, because it's the Chinese, or,
Numbers.
Buddhist calendar of
Yeah.
12 years, 12 months, that kind of stuff. So that's why he's seeing 60, it's 120 is double that. In any event, we are planning the bell ringing ceremony on September 5th, as always. It would be great to do this reunion thing.
Yeah.
And the week of the 120th anniversary, we have a film that was created in 2010 that has interviews with all of the organizations who participated in the 100th anniversary in 2005, why they got involved, what does the Portsmouth Peace Treaty mean to you now? We edited that series of interviews into a half-hour video that we showed in 2015, when the Russians were here as well. And the idea is to show that film in public at the library. I have a room reserved, have the Levinson room reserved on the 3rd, because the 5th is a Friday, which isn't a good day to do that kind of thing. And the room was taken, more importantly. So right now I have it scheduled for the 3rd. So we're doing those things for the 120th. And there is a refreshed exhibit at the John Paul Jones House when it opens in May 23rd. There's one case that we tend to do rotating exhibits in, and the focus this year is on that PTAC, the Portsmouth Peace Treaty Anniversary Committee, that put hundreds of events together in 2005. So the case is a display of posters and programs and photographs and a group photo of the people who did all that. So it's celebrating the people who did all that work 20 years ago. So when for some reason, I thought that the kids went to Nishinan in February. They went to Sant'Arcangelo in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah. It'll-
Um,
it's April.
Which we probably should have done something for you then.
Yeah.
But Laura said, yeah, we're going next week. Do you think we can get a letter from the mayor and a gift? This was on Monday, and
Yeah.
it's like, of course.
Okay.
So, Robert, I handed out copies of the letter, and Steve does anybody else need a copy?
Yeah, I have.
Steve has the original letter. What we have as gifts are the challenge coin that the mayor gives out. One side says City of the Open Door and has a clipper ship, and the other side has the seal of the city. And there's a challenge coin that I actually just put my version of it from 2005 in this exhibit case. And we found out that we had a few more of them. So I thought, okay, let's put the 2 coins as a gift because we've given them the books and
Yeah.
the stuff. So, and then I realized that we should also have something from this committee. So Robert, I think you're the only one who hasn't had a chance to sign this one sheet that will go in the folder to the mayor of Nishinan, saying happy 120th, happy 40th Sister City anniversary from this committee with the picture of the gifts in our display case. Because as Steve says, there's a big display case in the mayor's office in Nishinan with everything that we've ever given to them.
Yeah.
So I should look at photographs of that to know what we.
So, yeah, I'll send them, be Saturday, I'll be shooting pictures.
So there's that. And I also drafted a press release, as Laura had suggested, about the trip. So take a look at that. Included the fact that the mayor and this committee are sending their best wishes, and I'll get that out to the Herald. The one thing I noted is Laura told me 24 students and 7 teachers. You said 25 and 8. I'll go back and. look.
8, including me, I think. Yep. And then I think 24 is correct. Yep. Oh, yeah.
And actually, I have the list of students.
Yes, I think this looks spot on, yeah.
So that's what's happening with Nishinan.
So in terms of next year, I think it was one of the kids, because the Chronicle was just at the high school a couple weeks ago, and that came up like, this is an ideal Chronicle highlight in October, well, starting in almost do some filming like the
Yeah.
September 3rd and 5th, come back when, students are here, and anything else to help tell that big story. And yeah, so I was like, yes, I think that would be a wonderful Chronicle piece.
So I can follow up with the producer. New Hampshire, was the New Hampshire Chronicle there or?
Yeah.
Not the one out of Boston.
Yeah, no, New Hampshire, yeah. So, yeah, if we
Do
could,
you have the dates for the next visits for the,
yeah, I was just looking at, it's,
but Nichinon and Sun.
Yeah. yeah, they're kind of back to back again, I think. We're, and it's homecoming week, so that'll be added fun.
It seems to be either that or Halloween.
Yeah,
Between the 2 of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this year. So first week in October, so first is a Wednesday. Yeah, it looks like, and then into the second week with Italy. But I'll confirm that. I just have those as a note. So basically, yeah,
So
from the
that-
29th of September through the 14th, essentially. Yeah, but I'll confirm those.
All right. But yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for all the updates on the bell ringing and stuff. We should think about who else should we reach out to or what, just ask, how can we help? We don't
Sure.
need to take over their programming.
Thank you. Yeah, we already have the proclamation from Governor Ayotte.
Yeah.
And it's possible, not the folder. There's an effort afoot. I'm not sure exactly where it's going. The Consul General was interested in having the New Hampshire legislature have their own proclamation or resolution or whatever. At this point, it is a declaration by the New Hampshire legislature that they think the celebration of the 120th anniversary of the treaty is a wonderful thing. basically the philosophy of the governor's proclamation is that this is important to New Hampshire history, and because New Hampshire citizen diplomacy is something you don't find that citizen engagement anywhere else. Nobody else has ended a world war. I don't know where that resolution is going yet. I did introduce myself to Speaker Packard at a reception that the Consul General had on the occasion of the Emperor's birthday about a month ago. I mean, he's kind of peripherally aware of it, even though it really is on his desk at the moment. I'm waiting to see where that goes. So there is a woman who works with the Consul General and is very engaged on the political side with the New Hampshire House and other New England legislatures. And I'm letting her keep me informed. That's kind of where that is.
Yeah.
But so we have we have a proclamation. We always get letters from the congressionals. Last year, Senator Shaheen brought the ambassador to the US from Japan to the bell ringing, and she and the Consul General may well have additional ideas, particularly if this person in the you were telling us this, the aide in Senator Shaheen's office is Asian foreign relations, so
Yep.
that may.
His specific area. Yeah, he's not actually in her office. He's in the Foreign Relations Committee. So he's worked on, because she's senior
Right.
on the committee, he's now working with her, but he's not part of her staff.
But we do have Chris's contact, or the.
We do, yeah, the
Yeah,
deputy
we could reach out to
director
him
of New
and,
Hampshire.
you know, see what they're planning to make sure we're coordinated. Cause I had the thought when we met with them, oh, I don't know what you're planning. I should, you know what I mean? Wait to listen from you probably first before I start telling you what we're planning or. So we can reach out to Shaheen's office and see what they're planning and make sure that we're all coordinated on the same page for that.
Mhm.
And just, I mean, you had mentioned, I think, even in the agenda, the idea in this world in this year of the philosophy of Sister Cities International and how we can channel whatever good thoughts about citizen diplomacy they might have. And just do what we can to be an advocate
Yep.
for that. When we have the Secretary of State saying, well, if we don't like your country, we really don't need your visitors, in spite of the billions of dollars of trade advantage that is to us, to say nothing of the citizen diplomacy. It's just crazy. And
Yeah.
surely SCI is dealing with that, with every city, with every partnership, with everybody with their hair on fire, saying, what can we do to help maintain the friendships that we have established with all of these places? So, you know, whatever. I mean, Christine, you and I see SCI stuff fairly often.
Well, and also the folks we talked to the other day introduced us to the concept that there's a whole branch of the State Department that is there to help us with this kind of thing. And they sent me the name of our local regional diplomat, who's somebody who was in foreign service, has lived overseas, has been in the State Department for a while, and could help us identify if we want to do things beyond the high school, if we want to set up other things, like we were saying, sports. I know SCI does an arts thing, as opposed to maybe the economic ones that we talked about. Some cities have that very strong economic connection. We don't see that right now, but maybe it'll appear someday. But we could reach out to them for that reason, because we were both saying that those experiences that we've had going overseas and seeing kids that I know who have gone over, identifying that now this is another human being who I have something in common with. They're not a foreigner. That's huge right now. Yeah.
Is that in relation to the World Affairs Council as well, or is it separate?
No,
Because
this is
World
the,
Affairs Council does its own thing and hosts visits that the State Department arranges or used to. I
yeah,
don't
they
think
might
they're
organize it
doing
with the State Department. You said this was a new program, right, under Biden?
Yeah,
It was a new.
yeah, I was learning more than,
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but
you know, and I wasn't.
the diplomat is assigned to the region.
Right?
How local is local?
Boston or no?
Oh,
I think he was New England. I think that's what,
I was just,
I know it's regional, but where is she? Is that what you want to know?
just a warning, I gotta leave in 5 minutes. I gotta
Yeah.
coach a Little League game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I encourage the group to think of any ideas that we can do to strengthen ties. You know what I mean? That this is what Sister Cities was all about, right? Was, you know, being friends with your friend in each country and individuals being friends and not worrying about what our leaders are doing, you know, and showing that we have these real connections. So I just encourage everyone to, you know, brainstorm, think of ideas, even if it's just us sending letters to all our sister cities or friendship cities, being like, hey, you know, these are still our priorities, regardless of what you hear on the news. Might be one idea.
Mhm.
Any other comments or any other discussion? Any public comment? No?
Nobody joined
online?
us.
All right. I'll wait a motion to adjourn, I guess.
Do we want to set a date for the next?
Yes,
meeting?
no, that was my next thing. Sorry. Yes, thank you.
Thursdays.
So I didn't know if we want to do the third Thursday, which would be May 15th, or we do the third Wednesday, which would actually be May 21st. But I didn't know what works better for people.
I think the doodle poll, and you can correct me, was that it was an issue this week, but that generally Thursday is better for you. And Ben could do it Thursdays except for today.
It was better for
Yeah.
Steve too.
It was better for Steve too, so it was we established Thursday as.
Sure. Does that work? Does there, I want, you know, I mean, I want to hear from everybody. I will, you know, when they come fall, I won't be able to do Thursdays
Okay.
because the
okay.
freshman football
Sweet.
team plays on Thursdays, but we can worry about that then. Yeah, yeah.
We could have our meeting.
At the
Okay.
meeting, yeah, yeah, you guys can meet, I'll call plays and. So should we plan on May 15th at 4 o'clock? That would be the third Thursday.
And I
Is
will,
that okay, Mary Carey? Is that?
I will reserve the room.
Okay, perfect.
Christine, you may have already adjusted the Zoom, but, I'll make sure we have.
I'll
this
change
room.
the invitation so it's ongoing and the Zoom is listed there.
We'll make sure, yeah, we'll let the committee know whenever, so Ben knows.
Otherwise, motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.